Hey folks, do you need to run a Windows app on Apple Silicon M1 devices up to M4? Here I'm showcasing my M1 Max and M4 Pro that are both running Parallels Desktop. You could get 35% off if you use the Blend Tech code below. And I'm also going to do a 1-year standard edition giveaway. So this is a video that has been sponsored by Parallels, as I'm showcasing here. This is from scratch, the M1 Max running Parallels. I wanted to showcase some reasons you might want to use Parallels on Windows specific devices that you can't get anywhere else on emulation. One such is Microsoft Visio, which is sometimes what I use for my professional environment. So like I said, outside of gaming, perhaps you need to actually do some work on your Mac. Visual Studio is also another tool that only runs on Windows. Now, of course, there is Visual Studio Code, but depending on what your development needs are, this is something that you could consider using. And the great thing I like about Parallels is compared to perhaps if you're from my channel on Mac gaming, such as Whiskey or Crossovers, I find that sometimes the documentation is very forum driven. Here, there's a lot of professional documentation made to cover your bases on what you may need to develop on this machine if that is your work environment. So for me, I've mentioned before, I've been doing some vibe coding using Cursor, Visual Studio, Gemini, Code Cursor, Claude Code, etc. One thing that you might want to spin up on your virtual machine is if you're running the code, you have the IP address that you could access. So if you need to check it out on Mac, as well as checking out how it visualizes on Windows, you could do the same from one development instance. Another thing you could do is there's this AI package code, which we'll get into later. But really showcasing here, with this one app I have on GitHub, Funnel Flow, you could basically, if you have multiple Cursor accounts or multiple GitHub accounts, depending on how many organizations you may be working for, or your personal account versus your work account, that's one methodology, actual use case that I use it for. And then this is a new thing that I saw was the AI development package. It's similar to if you're familiar with AI using local LM models. Of course, there's Ollama or LM Studio. Now, I know this is coming out of left field for people who may be following me from Mac Gaming, but I guess I'm getting a little into some of the technical sides of other things I've been doing besides making gaming videos. So one cool feature I wanted to showcase specifically and deep dive into is creating new virtual machines in VS Code. Essentially, if you're a developer, you may need to quickly create VMs and have certain things installed from a developer's perspective. Once you click in and see through here, it's pretty nifty. You could choose how much specs you want to have and then have these additional options such as installing Git, Docker, other tools that might be useful when you need to quickly spin up a VM. And here I can't click very well, but basically you could see everything from Windows, Mac, and Linux. You could start up and have different frameworks. And of course, there's the snapshot information or snapshot mode, where if you somehow blow up your machine, you could always go back to where you were in the development standpoint. And of course, probably in a useful development environment, you are uploading to Git so that you have your environment set up and then your Git backed up on GitHub, hopefully. So yeah, showcasing here, Gemma 2, of course, there's now Gemma 3N. There's the Llama from Facebook. All stuff you could do in the AI development package as soon as you download it and run it. And essentially what this is once you download it, it makes an Ubuntu type of isolated server that, once you log in, you have to, of course, update following the guides, like I mentioned, the docs that are created, update Parallels tools, and you'll be up and running, getting local LLM running on this particular device. Going a little bit into details of what's in this package, it comes pre-installed with these AI things that could help boost you. And from some of my development, you of course probably, if you're a developer, install these with Homebrew. But it is nice to kind of spin up a package and have these things pre-installed. So that's something to consider. Another thing they added, which I haven't used, but I could see being useful, is a virtual camera that you could pull up in Parallels. Now, I actually did test out using a virtual camera before in my work when I was screen sharing. As like a different way to showcase that. And here they showcase, pulling it up on the Windows instance, and you have the Mac instance running. Now, I did say that there are some things you may want to do. And of course, most people come to my channel probably looking at how to play video games on Mac. The Windows version on Parallels can run most of your games, though at it, the GPU support isn't that great. But the reason you may want to use Parallels is to get Windows 32 versions of games running. So with that being said, hope you guys have any questions below. Oh, and I forgot to mention how to do the giveaway. Put a comment below, even if it's a question, any of them. I'll be using a giveaway randomizer to give away 1 free year standard. If you guys need Windows on ARM or Windows on Mac, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.